Warning: the following podcast contains irreverent humor, exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off this podcast immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
It's time for the Jedi to end.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate, featuring your hosts, JT. I mean, they killed his mother. What's he supposed to do? Send him a postcard? I wish you wouldn't have done that. AJ.
I'm on Facebook, man! Hey, Mom, check me out!
Steve.
Sir, you have a parasol on your face. Please do not tell me what I should and should not like, sir. Thank you.
It really was. On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we critique the worst YouTube video ever.
Whoa!
Discuss the Aluminum Falcons back-to-back Star Wars Trivia Contest Championships.
Yeah!
And Space Buttholes.
Thank you.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. Back with me, as usual, are AJ and Steve. And we actually have two people on the Moof Milker mic tonight, one who might not talk very much. Our cousin Chris is back after our legendarily tasteless David Prowse episode discussing Return of the Jedi. What's up, Chris?
Nothing. What's up with you?
Not too much. And his daughter, mine and AJ, our niece Natalie is here. What's up?
Nothing. What's up with you?
Not too much. Have you ever done anything on radio before? Is this your first time ever talking on a microphone like this?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Rock on. How much do you know about Star Wars?
Not much.
You'll be great at this.
She's in the biz, though.
Right.
She's been on stage.
You're officially like a performer. So you've done that.
Giving a dramatic flourish on an audio podcast doesn't really work.
Yeah.
You might want to, I don't know. You got to emote.
Yeah.
Emote.
Da-da.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Ta-da! Nobody can see the jazz hand, so you know. So, well, first of all, since we kind of teased it on the last episode, I finally got to hang out with you and give you your birthday present, which finally came all the way from the UK. So, did AJ tell you what it is, Chris?
No, he did not.
It is.
I probably should have brought it within reach of the table before we all got hooked up to our headphones, because
right?
I'm trying to show it now and no one can reach it.
Yep.
Well, just reach over. It's like 3 feet away. I think we'll be all right.
All right, we're going to hear some squeaking.
Yeah. So what I got AJ was from a website called propstore.com, and we saw it at Celebration. It
came in bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap. It is complete with a certificate of authenticity, an actual piece of the low gray, the Ewok costume from Return of the Jedi. So AJ had been to their stand at Celebration and was all about it. So when it came time for his birthday, I decided, I think maybe I'll get him that Ewok.
So now when you
fur.
go back and listen to the last episode, all those random Ewok noises I was playing and staring at John make a little bit of sense now.
Did you notice how I was just glossing over those? Like, I'm not even going to go anywhere near it just in case.
You're like, is that an Ewok soundboard? And I'm just like, yeah.
I was afraid you might remember.
I didn't even pick up on it. I had no idea that's where this was going.
That's why I was afraid of him of even acknowledging what he was doing with Ewoks, in case you remembered that you were looking at that at Celebration.
At it.
Oh, believe me, I was laughing inside. I just didn't want to ruin the surprise. So you
tried to curve it by going, is that a soundboard?
Yeah, wow, is that a soundboard? I can't believe it.
And look, I got a coupon for 10% off.
Well, there you go.
I can buy another Ewok pelt.
You can get Tebow or Wicket now.
Wicket costs a little bit more.
No, I think it was the same.
I checked.
As
soon as you got me this one, I'm like, ooh, what else do they have?
I wanted to get you the one that had all six. They actually had one, Chris, that was all six of the Ewoks that are named, and it was like $350. And I was going to get like the rest of our family to pitch in, but it wasn't on their website.
And they don't like me that much.
They would have helped. But yeah, so you are now the proud owner of official Ewok fur.
Yeah, this is like next level collecting. Now I've actually got stuff from the movies themselves instead of just, expensive fan made costumes and Lego sets.
I just really hope I didn't get you hooked on that now, because that'd be bad. That's a very expensive collecting hobby to get into.
Well, like everything's a collectible now. You remember that booth at Celebration? You can actually buy like the boom crane that the camera was mounted on if you want it.
Oh yeah, you should see this stuff, Chris.
When they say
it's
they
crazy.
sell stuff from the production, they mean they sell the stuff from the production.
Yeah, the actual clapper that they used in episode 4 and things like that. I mean, it's crazy what they have.
Yeah, do you want a daily call sheet? They got them.
Yeah.
It's got to be expensive.
Oh, it's very expensive. I mean, they have pages from the actual script, like with the handwriting from the cast on it and stuff. That's just astronomically expensive.
See, stupid me. Like they had a couple baseball caps on their table. And I was like, oh, these are cool because they're like virtually brand new. And they had the Celestial Power logo from Rogue One, like on the cap. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. They've got like an affordable thing that you can buy. I was thinking like $25-$30, maybe $40 for Celebration hike. No, it's an actual crew cap from the production, so it's $150.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, man. It's a cool cap. Why don't they just make that thing?
Yeah, I always wondered that too. I mean, you would think that that's something that people would buy. I mean, it's a cool hat. You say, oh, this is exactly what the crew wore. It's kind of like one of those hats from the NFL draft where they're like, you can buy the official NFL draft hat of your favorite team. Like, Star Wars nerds like us would buy a Rogue One crew hat. It was cool.
I just like the logo of Celestial Power. I've been looking for any merchandise that has that on there, and it's nowhere to be found.
That is kind of weird.
It's super simple, and I love it. I don't know why. It's super cool, but you can't get it unless apparently you were on the production or have $150 for a baseball cap.
Maybe it was in the Celebration store, and we just couldn't see it, or it sold out the first day.
No, they do that on purpose so somebody can sell them on eBay like 25 years from now and pay like $500 for one of them.
Well, they're 150 now, so
then you end up on Pawn Stars and he gives you $3 for it.
Yeah. Well, this doesn't seem like it has any sweat from the key grip, so it's not worth nearly as much. So
this one smells like Dennis Murin.
This one's worth $10,000.
I'm gonna have to call in one of my experts.
Yes, I do believe that is the musk of Dennis Murin.
Just brings in somebody and he starts smelling it like a fine wine. Just
yeah. This is definitely not the 2001 Dennis Murin from episode 2. This is his later years. You can tell by
it clearly smells like a 2016.
This is a geriatric bouquet. Yes.
Oh my God. So something else happened since we were last on the air. Something that we teased at the end of the last episode, and we actually did. We went out to the Geeks Who Drink Let the Wookiee Win Star Wars Team Trivia Contest. And
that was the way to do May the 4th right.
Yes. And the Aluminum Falcons showed up again, and it was you and I. And my wife, Stephanie, was a part of the team. We were going to invite you, Chris, but it was your wedding anniversary.
I'm cool enough to get actually married on Star Wars Day.
You didn't know that.
It was before Star Wars Day was a thing.
Yeah, but it's very...
See, he just went hipster on you.
Yeah.
I did it before it was cool.
That's okay. It's very inopportune because we can never do Star Wars stuff with you on May the 4th. We can never include you. So... But our friend Dave was supposed to be a part of the team. He came out with a date of his, and he got there in the second round. And I talked Star Wars with him a lot.
Well, let's start with that. He got there in the second round.
Yeah,
this thing started at what, 8 o'clock,
9 o'clock,
9 o'clock, and it was well after 10 before he showed up.
No, it was like 9:30 because it was only the second round. But he had a date, and he kind of rushed it a little for them to get there, so that was cool.
That right there is hilarious.
Well, the hilarious part was he and I talk Star Wars all the time, and he seems very knowledgeable. So he comes in, and they give the first question, and he gets this look on his face like, what the hell? And he's like, I don't know. What the? So I'm like, all right, Dave doesn't know this one. Second question, more of the same. Third question, more of the same. Fourth question, he just starts laughing. Is like, I'm out. You guys just go for it. So it was basically just AJ and I and my wife, Stephanie. So it was more difficult than I expected this time because Chris and Steve, the second round was an audio round. And what they did is the way that the contest works is there's 8 rounds with 8 questions per round. And 6 of the rounds are worth 8 points. And 2 rounds, being round 2 and round 8, are worth 16 points. So each question is worth 2. And you have a joker, they call it, and you can use it in one round. If you circle it on your score sheet for that round, it doubles whatever score you get in that round. And I was going to do it in the second round because it seemed pretty easy. Because what it was 2-part questions. The first part was audio. They would play an audio part from one of the movies. And by the way, this was only the original trilogy, Episode 7, and Rogue One.
Or as they put it, the good movies.
Yeah, they crapped on the prequels in the thing, so I was not too happy about it. But they would play an audio clip from one of those 5 movies, and then you had to say who it was that died in the clip. And then they asked a question about that person who died. So that was the 2 parts of each question. So I was going to use the Joker, and I completely forgot, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because they said, you need to give us the full name of the character who died. So like one of them was Admiral Ozzel. So I wrote Admiral Ozzel. Everybody knows that, is whatever. Is when he got choked out. You have failed me for the last time. Well, no, they wanted like Admiral Joe Ozzel. Like they wanted first, middle name stuff. And when he started going through it, everybody in the room, you could hear everybody go, what the hell is that? Like we're all like, we don't know this guy's first name. Like it's just, they never said it. Who knows that?
Or as we're wont to say, oh, come on!
That's literally was our response. It was like, who's going to know this crap? So we had the right answers for like 7 of the questions, but we missed a bunch because we didn't have the actual full name. So it was pretty interesting. And they had the one round was a video round. They have a huge TV screen in the bar, and it was name the character under the fake Chewbacca mask. So they'd play a scene from the movie, and then superimpose over one of the characters was a Chewbacca mask with one of those like goofy looking old timey mustaches. So that was pretty fun. And the funny part was that the 8th question was Chewbacca coming out of the ATST in Return of the Jedi, and they put a fake Chewbacca mask over Chewbacca. So it's like, so it's kind of like a giveaway question, but they really asked some really rare stuff because there was a lot of Rogue One questions, and they even pulled a few things out for Rogue One and Episode 7 that you had to read the novels for. And they did mention that there was some stuff from the books. So it got kind of difficult. It was kind of interesting, but they announced the scores twice throughout the game, like every 3 rounds. So after the 6th round, we were in 3rd place, but we were 15 points out of 1st. So we're like, all right, well, we're not going to win this time like we did the last time. So we do the 7th round, which was the video round. And then the 8th round was all this really obscure stuff. I mean, it was goofy, but it's 16 points. So I used the Joker, whatever. And
this is where I was able to help out because the only book I've actually bought recently was the Rogue One Visual Dictionary.
Yeah.
And that has like all those obscure facts, like, how many fingers does Biston, the space monkey dude, have on his toes? Like weird stuff like that. Yeah. And they actually like went that deep with some of these things. So like when the points were really counting, that's when I'm like, oh wait, I got this one. I know this.
Yeah.
I can actually contribute.
So I knew like behind the scenes type of stuff. And then AJ had the book stuff. So, but we're thinking, all right, damn, we didn't win. We were all excited. We wanted to win, And he and I were arguing about a couple questions back and forth. I mean, it was funny. We're getting into it as we are wont to do.
It was super up to date though. Like one of the questions was name the planet over which the Empire finally surrendered.
Yeah.
Like the official end of the Galactic Civil War. It was Jakku, which was in the last of the Aftermath trilogy books that came out in like March.
Yeah.
So it was like less than 2 months old that this data came out. And they're like, yeah, we're going to write that one in there. So if you weren't like totally up to date on everything, you were completely lost.
Yeah. But so he and I were arguing about a few things and getting into it. And there was a couple I was right, couple he was right. And
or one that I was right on and you didn't hear me properly.
Yeah. Which one was that? It was, it was a multiple choice thing where they were talking about the swamp monster in Empire. And they said, is it a something?
Is it a Zillow beast or is it a something snake?
Yeah.
And I was like,
a dragon snake.
And I was like, oh, Zillow beast. That's in the Clone Wars.
So I circled Zillow beast because I thought he was saying, oh, Zillow beast as the answer.
I was thinking, no, what I meant to say was, no, I saw that in the Clone Wars, which is clearly not Empire Strikes Back. So choose the other one.
Yeah. But he didn't say choose the other one. I heard, oh, Zillow beast. So I was like, okay, I'll circle that. Well, it wasn't Zillow beast. It was the other one. I'm like, what the hell, dude? You told me it was a Zillow beast. Well, it's not. It's the other one. So he and I get arguing and stuff.
I thought it was clear that I was meaning to eliminate that choice because I knew where that reference came from, and it wasn't the one they were talking about.
So that was interesting. But anyway, so they get done with the scores, and we get through the 8 rounds. We're like, all right, well.
Hey, Steph contributed.
Yeah, she did. She actually knows Mon Mothma. She can't pronounce it, but there was like 2 questions where she knew it was Mon Mothma because she's been watching Rogue One a lot, and so she actually contributed a few answers, which was cool.
And she got us drinks.
Yes,
There was very little time between rounds. So especially at bar trivia, you assume they would give you like a couple minutes so you could, refresh your drinks, go to the bathroom. No, like I had to like keep like rushing out and right back to my seat again. I'm like, and now I'm thirsty. I had barely enough time to even go to the bathroom, let alone get another one. So
yeah.
So that was the biggest, boon about having Steph on the team was since she couldn't contribute trivia answers, she could play barmaid for us. It was great.
I was purposely not drinking because I'm like, if I catch a buzz, I'm going to start getting stupid. Because I've had that happen playing Star Wars Trivial Pursuit, and I didn't want to have that happen.
No.
Yes.
I don't believe it.
The one night I couldn't even get a question right about Chewbacca, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
I was so drunk. But so they go to give the scores, and they're getting up top, and they're like, 3rd place, some team, whatever. And we're like, oh, sweet, we got 2nd place. And then they announced 2nd place, and it still wasn't us. So we looked at each other like, holy crap, we won again. And it was obvious what team were the ones that yes, that's right. Yes. So it was obvious what team it was that thought they won, because all of a sudden these guys turn around from the bar. They had their backs to us the whole time, and they turn around. They are shooting daggers at us, man. They were pissed. And I don't know if they were just pissed because they lost, or maybe because he and I are jumping up and down going, yeah, we did it, yeah, just like totally celebrating.
Pulling a Joe from Family Guy, screaming, get some in their faces.
We are the champions.
Well, I remember
2 times.
Dude, I remember you say the Aluminum Falcons again. You're the only original team member who showed up for this that actually participated.
That's okay.
So, like, everybody else, including myself, was a write-in, basically.
No, Steph was on the original Aluminum Falcons.
Oh, she was? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are the only 2-timers then.
Yes. Chris, I'm sure would have gone if it wasn't your anniversary.
Yeah, I was there last year for it.
Yeah, Chris was an original Aluminum Falcon.
I would have went if I would have been useful.
But yeah, like your story from last time was you came back from 8 points down. So when I heard that we were like 14 points down going into the final round, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, and the funny part was he tweets out, well, we didn't win before they announced who won. Oh, well, we might have got 2nd place. Not too bad. And then we had to go back and retract the tweet and be like, nope, AJ was wrong. We won. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Sorry. Hey, if you're going to be wrong on trivia night, it better be when you're talking about losing the game.
Yes. So, so we won. We've done it twice, and we've won it twice. So,
yeah, I just can't do that stuff because, like you were saying about it going in depth and stuff, like if you give some really basic stuff, I might be useful, but I know all this stuff is like, who did the catering for Return?
It's not,
and you guys will know that crap.
It's not quite that bad.
You would have been good at it, Steve, because the 2 things that I drew a lot of knowledge from: 1, the Star Wars Card Trader app.
That was actually helpful.
So that's good for like the full name questions. Where you're like, I didn't even know this guy had a full name. Or Lego. Like one of the guys who died was the A-Wing pilot who crashed into the bridge of the Super Star Destroyer.
Oh my God.
And I had heard that guy's name before because he was made into a minifigure on a Lego set that I own. So I couldn't remember it at the time, but like as soon as they said it, I'm like, oh,
Roger.
That was it.
Yeah. And it's stuff that like you hear in the movie, but you don't even think about. Like the one was Han Solo got name the 3 people that were mentioned as having stolen the Millennium Falcon in episode 7. And I'm like, all right, I know it's Unkar Plutt. I know it's Duquesne. And then I'm like, all right, so who's the 3rd one? I thought it was something brothers, and it turns out it's the Irving boys. But it's like you think about it and you're like, crap. Like, you heard it, but it's just.
And once you get put on the spot to try to remember it, that's when it just goes out.
Yeah, that's totally what it is.
I said, because when we were texting earlier, and all that went through my head was the one time we went over AJ's to play this stuff, and my brother was there, and it just turned into me and my brother watching you two just argue and play the game because it was just pointless to try to. Even the stuff I knew, I couldn't spit it out of my stupid mouth fast enough before one of you two said it, and I'm just sitting there. Why? Why am I here?
Funny enough, Chris played with us one time, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to get killed," but he was keeping up with us.
Didn't I win?
If you didn't, you were right up there. I don't remember who won. I think you might have.
I think I did win, which was a shock.
Yeah. Well, because you were like, I'm going to get killed. But me and AJ were like, man, he's like totally hanging with us.
If you guys bust out like the kids version of it, I would so be in there. Unless it's Disney XD stuff, because I haven't been watching Rebels enough.
Well, where the Trivial Pursuit is weird is that you either get like something really unbelievably easy or something ridiculously hard. So it's kind of weird that way. It's two different extremes. There's not really a lot of middle ground. So, but yeah, so that's the story of the Aluminum Falcons. 2-time Geeks Who Drink Let the Wookiee Win Star Wars Team Trivia Champions.
So if you visit our Facebook page or our Twitter page and you notice that the cover photo has changed.
Yes.
That's our Aluminum Falcons team shot.
Yes, that was our team shot. My wife, Stephanie, with the giant logo.
Yeah.
What'd you guys
Part of Stephanie.
Yeah. Well, we won notoriety and we won
15.
We got $35 a piece or something like that because I gave Dave and his date their entry fee back. It's everybody that enters has to pay $5, so I gave them their entry fee back. So we split the rest, which was $35 a person.
And due to some creative bartending accounting, I still had money left over.
Yeah,
like I expected it to all be gone and just pay the difference. And they're like, "Yeah, here's your change." I'm like, huh? I had like 5 drinks and it came to like $19. I don't get it.
I also went in and ran smack on somebody on Facebook afterwards because I wasn't sure I was going to do the trivia, and then during the day this was on a Thursday. I happened to be on the event page and I saw like people are tagging their friends like, "Oh, we should do this today," and some girl tagged her friend and went, "Oh, we got to do this. We would rule this ish. We'll kill everybody," or something. And I was like, "You bitch, no, you won't." So I was like, "That's why I went."
Accepted.
Yeah, that's why I went. So after we won, I found the event page and I went in there. I'm like, "You didn't own anything. All you owned was second place at best because you couldn't beat the Aluminum Falcons." I said something. I was totally gloating on social media. It was so childish, but I didn't care because I'm the champion and the winners write history.
Is that why the response to our Twitter poll that we put up today, the first actual comment that we got in reply was, "You're an asshole."
I wondered about that, if that was like to us or to the guy in the video.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
It could easily have been either. So
I would actually take that. I'd be pretty proud if it was someone calling us an asshole.
This is where I'm not very good with Twitter. I wasn't sure if we were getting trolled or not, so I decided not to reply. But I would like to, look into that a little bit further and find out who the asshole is.
Well, considering everybody voted no, I tried to vote yes, but I was too late on the poll. Like, is Episode 7 the worst movie? Yes. Which actually leads us into our topic of conversation tonight. We found a video that is some guy just crapping all over Episode 7. And AJ had a few ideas for the show that kind of morphed into this. And in doing research for a different topic, he actually found this video. And my feelings on the movie are well documented if you listen to the show. To me, it is the worst of the Star Wars movies because it's the only one that doesn't tell an original story. And the guy does mention that in the beginning of his arguments here, which take an hour for some reason.
He's got a lot to say.
Yeah, he wants to hear himself talk. Just go get a podcast. Do it that way.
See, you beat me to that. It's just like trivia.
I knew what you were going to do. So, but, it's my least favorite Star Wars movie because it's the least original, but I still love it. I think it's an awesome movie. I just, to me, I just don't like the fact that it doesn't say something original. So this guy, though, he goes digging into this and basically led us to the question of, you have to suspend disbelief. I mean, where do you draw the line between just watching a movie to be entertained and nitpicking it to death just to find stuff wrong with it? I mean,
yeah, and this is exactly why we wanted to have you on, Chris, because you walked out of Rogue One thinking that thing, especially at the end and then in days following, you disliked it more the more you thought about it, to where like I thought you were going to completely sandbag the thing and call it the worst of the Star Wars movies. And then it came out on home video and you gave it another watch. And now where does it stand for you?
Oh, I love it.
Okay, so it redeemed itself on a second viewing.
The issue with that movie was there was such iconic imagery in the trailers, and it kind of spoiled it for me because I'm expecting to see like the TIE fighter on the catwalk, and that didn't happen. And so I was really let down by the things that were in the trailers that weren't in the movie. And just like any film, the first time you watch it is not a good judgment of what you're true feelings are. You got to watch it more than once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That movie to me just keeps growing on me. Like I loved it, and now I just keep rewatching it. It's what I wished I could do with episode 7.
The two movies are moving in opposite directions for me too. Where like Force Awakens, I had a good time with when I first saw it, and then upon subsequent viewings, it's losing its luster for me. And Rogue One is just the opposite, like you said, JT, where it's like it was so much fun and awesome in the theater, but the more I watch it, the more I like it.
Yeah, it really grows on you. And like I say, I mean, you know, this guy, we'll have Steve play some of the video, and right off the bat, he gets in. I mean, first of all, it just sounds like he's trying to troll. It's one of those, listen to how smart I am, like one of those douchebags. You know what, Steve? He's probably got a parasol tattooed on his face.
I hope he does.
He's one of those guys. But, you know, so it just sounds like he's, you know, trying to sound all smart. Like, look at my great movie opinion. So why don't we play this and we'll get into it, and then we can fast forward around and see if we can land on other points. But, you know, this is a good jumping off point for our discussion tonight.
The only way you could have been disappointed at The Force Awakens quality is if you had gotten your hopes up about Disney actually being able to hire people who somehow had inspiration for a vision that wasn't their own, which ended after Episode 6. As we all know, George Lucas no longer intended to make Star Wars movies after he finished with the prequel trilogy, but for some reason, just because he failed miserably in their execution, everyone decided it would be perfectly fine if we had a completely new trilogy, along with countless spin-offs, because that will somehow fix the prequels. We'll be getting that Star Wars vibe back, they said, as if we needed new Star Wars movies to override the prequel trilogy to prove that the original movies were good. Well, The Force Awakens is proof that we don't. The first thing you'll notice about this so-called Star Wars movie for a new generation is that it's almost a carbon copy of the first Star Wars movies, particularly A New Hope. It starts out with a Resistance fighter giving a droid some mysterious information to keep safe from the First Order, just before he's captured and interrogated by a masked Dark Jedi. Luckily, the Resistance fighter is freed by Stormtrooper and escapes. Meanwhile, the droid flees across a desert planet and is rescued from scavengers by a young Force-sensitive girl. The two become companions and depart the desert planet on the Millennium Falcon after being attacked by the First Order. After meeting up with a wise and very short old sage and having a vision in an underground passage beneath her home, and then witnessing the destruction of a solar system by the First Order's Death Star Killer, Star Killer base, she embarks on a dangerous mission to destroy the superweapon with Han Solo and a small group of X-Wing fighters. Unfortunately, the old mentor gets killed by the Dark Jedi, but the base still gets destroyed after a little lightsaber battle, and our heroes escape just in the nick of time. Not only is the plot very similar to A New Hope, but the filmmakers also seem to be copying specific imagery from the original movies.
All right, hit pause for a second, Steve. One thing I do want to point out is that
there was no Porkins.
Right? But if you really think about it, his description of that, it really is pretty note for note.
That's the thing, is you didn't have time to watch this video, but a lot of it you probably find yourself really nodding your head at and be like, okay, yeah, this guy's really on point.
It's just he does nitpick too much. So go ahead and hit play again, Steve. I just wanted to point that out.
This was no accident. They knew that the older generation of Star Wars fans were yearning for retribution after the prequel trilogy, so they employed every psychological technique they could think of to trick you into thinking you were watching the old trilogy all over again, which you basically are. The main difference is that The Force Awakens is worthless, and I'll explain why shortly. Something that all writers today don't understand is that if you're stealing ideas from other storytellers, you're not really making your own story at all. You're telling someone else's story, only with different aesthetics. In this case, however, it's unfair for me to say that about The Force Awakens because they don't even bother coming up with their own imagery. What's interesting about my review, though, is that while most critics of The Force Awakens focus solely on the stolen elements of the story, I find it to be a minor flaw compared to just how incoherent, hollow, and astoundingly stupid every single element of this movie is.
Stupid.
You hear that? How
The Force.
What's interesting about my review?
Yeah. Every movie writer in Hollywood doesn't understand this. But what's great about my review, up your ass, dick. Who are you?
Scripted.
Huh?
It seems almost scripted.
Well, you can tell he's reading off a script.
Oh, he's
but
been
it's
writing,
a bad script. Yeah,
he's been writing this down on bar napkins for 2 years, just waiting to upload this on YouTube.
Everybody's gonna look at my video. I'm gonna be all famous. Look at me. I'm all smart.
Well, he does have 607,000 views on YouTube.
It's sad, man.
He's talking like reasonably fast, and he still complains for an hour.
Yeah.
That's what I can't understand.
It's amazing.
That's what I thought. He was like my brief, and I was like, no. You're past brief, sir.
Yeah, when you take an hour, you're not brief, dude. Believe me, I know. I can talk with the best of them, and I cannot filibuster for an hour.
I spent a lot of time watching that Star Wars Explained channel, which is, super well researched stuff. I watched the video today, 101 facts about the Death Star, and that thing was only a 7-minute video.
Yeah.
Like, you can get through these things quickly if you mean to.
Yeah. He just, he wants to expound on everything, and look how smart I am. And it's just like, all right.
I mean, he's not wrong about the imagery thing, but he's wrong right off the bat of, people needed more Star Wars and stuff. No, they bought a huge franchise and they needed to recoup $4 billion on it.
Yeah.
So they did what they wanted to recoup that money. And they've already made it, like, they've made that $4 billion back off of 2 movies.
Yeah.
So now they can kind of just do whatever the hell they want with the franchise from now on, which we're kind of seeing in the trailers for episode 8, where, the low-hanging fruit was there just to make the money and get this thing rolling again and get Star Wars relevant again to the I always say the lowest common denominator, to the people that either forgot or
fringe fans that used to be into it. They want to bring them back in.
The fair weathers and stuff. How many people did they bring in?
Like Chris.
That
you looked right at me.
Like not even that. I mean, like people that had zero interest in Star Wars before, but then they started force feeding you Rey and all these other characters.
Oh.
How many people did they get that never saw a Star Wars movie until episode 7?
Look what they did with that main trailer with Han Solo, Chewie, we're home. Like people that don't know anything about Star Wars except for the 3 main original trilogy characters. You see Han Solo and Chewbacca, you're like, well, I got to see this. Either they remember that or they want to see what it was all about. And it's, but his point where, they think they need to do more Star Wars to make the prequels look good. That wasn't the point. They completely ignored the prequels.
The point was to make freaking money.
Yeah, right. The point was to make money because they knew they could. I mean, why wouldn't they?
I know a lot of Star Wars fans like to think that all these movies are just made for us and our enjoyment and stuff. It's not. Ultimately, when it boils down to it, it's a business and they're trying to make money.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's the first thing this guy reaches for.
And just like the Cleveland Browns, they put a stupid team out every single year, and yet people keep buying tickets to the trash. It's the same thing with Star Wars.
Watch it, Steve. No, I'm one of those people who buys
You're
tickets
an idiot.
to the trash.
You're an idiot. That's your fault. I'm sorry. But that's what it is. It doesn't matter because people will spend money on it regardless. So, I mean, episode 8 we could have seen the entire movie of episode 8 on the trailer, and when the movie comes out in December, they could just go,
yeah.
And it's still going to be number 1 in the box office over the weekend. They're going to make millions of dollars the first weekend because people are going to hear about it online and make a joke about it. And guess what? We're going to go see it like 3 times just to laugh about it.
Hell yeah. I mean,
that's $20 a piece out of all of us. There's $100 at the table already.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And to your point, I mean, this is the first thing the guy reaches for is he says, well, they want to do it to make the prequels look good. It's like, no, you're reading into that. They did it to make money. And this guy is full of complete total crap. If he tries to say that it was 2012 when the Disney sale was announced and they said, we're going to make a new trilogy, that he didn't go, holy crap, that's awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Right.
Because if you weren't a fan, you wouldn't be making this stupid hour-long video. So don't pretend like you're high and mighty and above everybody else with your dumbass opinions, trying to pontificate and look how smart I am. What the hell is that? It's like we do that, but we don't come out with this trying to be all scientific and wordy and all that. We're just like, yeah, I like this, I don't like that. And we be bullcrap about it. We don't make some Shakespearean damn script like this moron's doing.
Well, you did just say pontificate.
I
have something of a vocabulary. I can also say trilogy instead of trilogy. Trilogy. Star Wars trilogy. It's a trilogy.
The Force.
Yeah, right.
So he comes from the Owen Wilson School of Diction. What's wrong with that?
So, Chris, did you get to watch any of this?
I watched about 5 minutes.
Okay, let's try an experiment.
You watched 3 minutes and 2 seconds over here on my computer screen.
Remember, well,
here's our experiment. Steve, I want you to scrub ahead to some random point in the video and just push play.
Yeah, let's do that.
And let's stop at 20 minutes of 50.
See, it sucks because I wanted to get to the point where he was just about to make. Basically, what he went into after that was, well, And now we get BB-8, and then Lor San Tekka's got this thing, but why didn't he do this with it? And how did Poe find him if no one else could find him?
That's what he does. He basically goes through the entire film scene by scene and talks about how dumb the decisions are in each part of it.
Yeah, but to me, he starts asking these questions. It's like, every movie has that.
You could do that about every movie in the history of ever. So
yeah.
You want to write a movie, go ahead and write a movie. Don't criticize somebody else's work.
Thank you. That's an excellent point. That's what I say. I mean, it's like you can criticize it, say, I like this, I don't like that. But to bring up points like that, you're not a filmmaker. And if you were, you know what you wouldn't do? Tell all of those effing details. Because you can't. You have a 2 hour and 15-minute time window to tell a certain story. You're not going to go, well, here's why Lor San Tekka's here. Here's how Poe found him. Here's why BB-8, sees everybody. You can't do that.
Every single point. That way you cannot make another movie, which means that $4 billion you just spent and planned on making 12 movies that you just pissed the bed on one. Now you got 11 movies worth of not getting revenue anymore. So good job, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a lot of his points is he's like, we don't know where this came from or why this or why that. Like, well, it's because you want to leave some things unexplained and some things to be explained in future installments. It's classic storytelling. Like that's what was so great.
It's called a tease.
It's called Star Wars.
Yes, exactly.
No one was up in arms in 1977 because when Obi-Wan says fought with him during the Clone Wars, like, you didn't tell us what the Clone Wars were.
Yeah.
Oh God,
No,
if there was internet back then, though, it totally would have been.
Well, and to his point, people didn't know what happened before Episode 4. So then George Lucas goes and gives you the story what happened, and everybody complained because it
wasn't what they wanted.
Yeah. So it's just a dumb point. Like
because of Jar Jar.
Kids love Jar Jar, man. So
did they really?
Oh, totally. All the little kids that I know that watch Episode 1 love Jar Jar. Hell, my wife loves Jar Jar. She thinks he's funny, and he was there. He was like a newer generation's C-3PO. Is what he was there for.
There are a lot of Jar Jar supporters out there.
Yeah, tons of them. All right, hit play. Let's see what he's got here.
All right, there's a picture of Rey on the screen. I think she's eating fruit.
She even goes on to tell us she's been around since the days of the Sith and the Empire, and then she starts talking down to Finn for being a wimp and not helping his friends.
I'm looking at the eyes of a man who wants to run.
Well, that's very quiet.
You are some kind of hypocrite, aren't you, Maz? And then Finn says,
there's no chance we haven't been recognized already.
Yeah, thank you, Maz. That happens to be your fault, So much for her 1,000 years of life experience. She has about as much judgment as a 3-year-old. I'm still waiting for an explanation as to why Finn even pretended to be with the Resistance. I mean, he's the most selfish character in the Star Wars universe. He was willing to dump Rey, dump BB-8 in the Resistance, dump Han and Chewie, and let Poe down after he saved his life, and then he's like,
Rey, come with me.
Are you nuts, man? Listen, you don't suddenly hear that the Jedi are all real, meet the legendary Han Solo, find a map that leads to Luke Skywalker, and then just decide you're done fighting the bad guys for the day and you want to go hide somewhere. Finn's character makes absolutely no sense. Of course, if we look closely at what the filmmakers were going for here, you see that this poorly executed version of the age-old, reluctant hero abandons his friends but then comes back at the end and saves the day cliché was actually yet another copy of Han Solo leaving Luke Skywalker and then coming back just in the nick of time.
All right, well,
but as we all know, this idea...
All right, just pointing out, I've heard this dude take like 2 breaths the entire time. This man's throat has to be dry as hell.
Unfortunately not. If we're at 20 minutes, we got 40 to go. I mean, see, that's crap. And to dig into that character, again, to our point, you have to suspend disbelief. You can't ask all these questions. Like, at what point, and Chris, you're a perfect one to have on this show because you and I argue about this all the time because you tend to do that. You like dig into these nitpicky little details. I'm like, it's a movie, bro. Like,
I dig into the continuity more than like the story as it's told per movie,
yeah.
Episode 5. Great, but episode 2, episode 3, and where it goes into episode 4 and 5, some of those continuity errors just kind of irk me. Like,
okay,
Obi-Wan not recognizing R2-D2.
Well, what do you think about him complaining about Finn, saying it's a ripoff of Han Solo, and also that the character makes absolutely no sense?
He's a moron.
Yeah,
because it's just a story. Even if it's a story that's familiar, it's still a story unto itself.
Yeah,
like any protagonist, antagonist, conflict. They're all movies, like I'm a big Marvel fan, but there's always going to be a villain. You know what I mean? There's always, I mean, it's a storytelling trope,
Yeah.
That's what a story is.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some quote? There's really only 7 major storylines, and they're all just told in different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I've read that. And I mean, did you have a problem with the Finn character? Because I know, was it you, Steve, that you really don't like Finn? Or was that you,
No,
AJ?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
But I mean, as much as you don't, do you like Finn or?
He's okay.
AJ can't
sweats
stand
a
him.
lot for me.
Yeah.
I actually like this video for that reason. He articulates a lot of my gripes way more eloquently than I can.
See, I disagree with his take on Finn not making sense. I mean, if you're going to dig into it, I mean, the guy was in the First Order, and now all of a sudden he's trying to escape the First Order. He's confused as hell. He's like jumping from here to there. There's kind of a lot to throw at one person in a day. And to say, well, he wants to throw everybody under the bus, but then he wants Rey to come along. Well, yeah, because in the beginning, he's trying to save his own skin, and then he's starting to become friends with Rey. He's like, well, let's get the heck out of here. He becomes friends with her, so he's trying to save her from the First Order. He's been saying the whole time the First Order is going to murder everybody, and he becomes friends with this girl and is like, let's go, so she doesn't get murdered. That's pretty linear to me. That seems to make sense. Hey, I don't want you to die at the hands of these bad guys that you can't possibly fight. How is that not making any sense?
I think his point was more about how no one should trust him. Like, he gives them no reason to trust him. Like, he even says, like, one of the points in the video was with Poe. The very first meeting, Poe's like, why are you doing this? Why are you helping me? Because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You need a pilot. I need a pilot.
Yeah.
Like he says right there. He doesn't say like, because I empathize with your cause, or no, he's like, I need a pilot. He doesn't say I'm on your side. He says, look, I need to get somewhere and you can get me there.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that Finn ever does that should let Rey or Poe or Han or anybody into like their circle of trust. And yet they're all like, okay, come on, you're on our side.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, I mean, he's trying to be a good guy, and his whole point about why does he say he's with the Resistance? Well, because you can get stuff done. It's like, if you're trying to get backstage at a concert and you don't have a pass, and someone's like, and you're wandering around, someone's like, are you supposed to be back here? Are you a backstage roadie? Yeah, I'm a backstage roadie. Okay, you can stay. You're not going to go, oh no, I'm just some lowly dude. Like, of course he's going to say he's with the Resistance because it's going to get him places.
He's not going to look at everybody and go, I'm First Order, but I'm not.
But
with
not
them.
anymore. Yeah, like
not
I
anymore.
used to be.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm with the First Order. Like, he's not going to get shot on sight. What are you going to do?
And that's one of his gripes too.
Like I am, but I'm not. You know what I mean?
I was a garbage man turned stormtrooper, but trust me, I'm good now.
But I didn't shoot anybody, because I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not really into that thing.
I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan stormtrooper. I can't be doing that. And human beings are considered animals, so I can't really do that. I'm a member of PETA.
Do you think the stormtrooper armor was hotter or the leather jacket was hotter walking around the desert?
Oh man,
that's not a good trade-off. You'd think the armor would be hot.
See,
but then
we're
jacket.
getting into the depths of episode 7 here.
Now we're nitpicking stuff that actually matters.
I want to know if this guy gripes about that.
Yeah, right.
Who wears a leather jacket on their head in the desert?
Yeah. That X-Wing could never have sunk into the sand because sand is hard and things don't sink.
Well, we were going to use this as a launching platform for a broader topic. We could totally just rip on this video for the entire show. I'm okay with that.
Oh, that's fine.
Like, I've seen it, so I can bring up points.
So the TIE fighter landed in the only sinkhole in the desert?
Okay. So there is a complaint about that because apparently the thing can suck down an entire TIE fighter, but Finn's okay and doesn't get sucked down. How did Poe even show back up, and where did he go? If it was his mission to retrieve this, why did he just go back to the Resistance base and just hope that the map would find its way back on its own? You want to tackle that one, because these are kind of valid plot holes.
No, it's not really, because I mean, back me up here. Oh, how come Finn's okay? Because you're not just going to kill the guy like 10 minutes after you meet him.
Because it's convenient.
Yeah,
there's a whole segment on the convenience of the plot devices. I'm like, it's a movie, and that always happens.
And they need diversity, too.
Yeah, right. They've got the woman. They've got the black guy. Like they've got it.
You can't make him the token black guy, or he just bites him.
Did Poe survive because of a religious angle? Because there was one set of footprints in the sand.
Yeah, right.
Somebody carried him.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're just gonna bring that up.
Jesus, take the wheel as the TIE fighter crashed onto Jakku.
But yeah, I mean, going into the whole suspending disbelief, why do you ask questions like that? You know why Finn survived, because he's a main character. You can't have everything be hyper realistic because it's not realistic. If you want to do that, why don't you go watch every single Star Wars movie? Okay, there's no sound in space. So how about that one? You want to bring that up? You want to bring up actual spatial physics? Let's do that.
Maybe there was sound in space a long time ago in a galaxy far away. It's a special galaxy.
Yeah, right? But then he'll nitpick that. I mean, it's why do you bring that up? And the plot hole of, why did Poe go back to the first, here's a better one that he skipped over. You want to talk about, well, why did he go back to the Resistance base? How the hell far could he have gotten to where Finn couldn't see him walking? That's what I want. It's like he woke up like soon after the crash. So how can he not see him walking?
So that, did you ever get through the novelization? Because there is something about how Poe got out of the desert, and I honestly don't remember because the book was terrible.
Yeah,
but
I can't read those novelizations.
But I think he does raise a good point. Okay, Poe was so hell bent on getting this map and retrieving it and taking it back to the Resistance that he flies back to the planet after breaking out of the Star Destroyer, and then when his ship crashes, he decides to just take off and head back to base.
Where else is he going to go?
Scour the planet for the map like he was doing in the first place.
You can't just wander the desert. He's going to die. You have to go somewhere.
He doesn't have a large, big comb.
Well,
we ain't found shit.
More religious thing, he's gonna run through the desert like freaking the 10 Commandments or something.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's got to have
Poe ends up at the Resistance base carrying 2 giant stone slabs and a huge like gray beard and stuff, looking like Gandalf when he shows up.
Well, clearly he found somewhere that had a ship, so he found civilization of some kind.
Well, yeah, it's called the Resistance base. What's he gonna do?
How do we know that Poe or Finn just didn't walk the wrong direction?
Yeah,
maybe Poe found something 10 minutes the other way and found some galactic taxi cab or something back to the Resistance base.
Poe's got the macro binoculars, and he's macro binoculars answer to a trivia question at Geeks Who Drink. He's got the macro binoculars. He's watching Finn walk away. He's going, "Where's that at going?"
That's the wrong way.
Yeah,
screw it.
Oh my God, he's gonna end up at Nema Outpost. What the hell is he going there for?
That's the thing, is Finn being all sheltered in the First Order. He didn't ever hear of Uber, I guess.
Jakku Uber. He could have taken that Lugabeast.
Uber.
Yeah, he could have called up Tito and ridden the Lugabeast into town.
Yeah, that's what Tito was. He was the Uber driver.
Tito was Jakku Uber.
BB-8 had actually hailed a ride. Ray just got in the middle of it.
Ray's like, "That's Tito, just wants you for parts," and all the beeping and booping is, "Damn it, you bitch! I'm trying to get out of here." I paid 50 credits for that ride. What are you doing?
Let's read into this. So what you're saying is Ray kind of ruined everything, because if she would have minded her own business, by the time Poe crashed the TIE fighter, BB-8 would have just been hawking a ride on the same Uber that he called from the middle of the desert.
The movie's over in 15 minutes. They all end up back at the same place, and he's like, "Here's the map," and they're like, "Well, I'll be damned. That's where we go." And then they fly, and then they're like, "Hey,
George Lucas."
It's shorter than an episode of Robot Chicken.
BB-8, let me bring up a point. BB-8 has that little pop-out drawer where the map was. What is that, like a change holder? What else goes in there?
It's like the SD card slot on your phone.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if there was like 2 nickels and like a gum wrapper in there.
It was on a flash drive. As he's rolling around, you just hear it clinking around inside of it.
There's like a butterscotch candy. It's like your grandma's candy dish. There's just like a bunch of random old people crap in there.
There's a button and a paper clip.
It's a golf tee.
Yeah, a golf tee. That would be awesome. I did wonder, like, R2-D2's got that slick, that nice little like floppy drive at least. And all BB-8 has is this drawer.
I'm glad you said drive after that. I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah. Like you would think they would upgrade it instead of it's like a downgrade. It's like you go buy like a 2017 car and it's got an 8-track player. You're like, what the hell is this? Where's the Bluetooth? Oh no. We went lesser on this model.
Slides in one of those like 6-inch like black discs from the old Apple computers.
Floppy.
And BB-8's just like trying to format the thing.
Formatting it.
It comes out all chewed up. Damn it, I only had one more of those. Do you know how hard it is to find a floppy disk in the middle of the desert? You can't even find these things at Office Max anymore.
Yeah, Radio Shacks are closed. I can't. Where's my Tandy 9000 at? I can't get something to read this.
Ah, crap. Why can't we be on Tatooine? I bet they have these at Tashi Station. So, all right. So let's scan forward ahead and see what else we got with this guy.
We're at 22 minutes. We'll just fast
By the way,
forward
Chris, feel free to jump in. You can cut us off at any time. So,
all right, we are.
If you want to hear him rip on John Williams, that's like after the 50-minute mark.
Forget that. Well, we'll
How do you
yeah.
rip on John Williams?
I have no idea.
After the 50-minute mark.
Don't go that far. Don't go that far yet.
All right, we are 34 minutes. We went ahead like another 10 minutes here.
All right.
There was nothing clear about it. Suffice it to say, the line between authentic Star Wars material and pure absurdity has been crossed. If Rey can suddenly know how to use all Force powers without any training from
he's just ripping on JJ in general right now.
Leia? I'll bet Leia could have used a handy mind trick when she was on the Death Star. Also, in their lightsaber battle, Kylo supposedly wiped out Luke's entire Jedi temple. How was he beaten so easily by Rey, who's never touched a lightsaber before?
Because he's half
Can't
dead.
say she's an expert because of her staff. Not only are staffs different from single-bladed lightsabers, but look how she only knows how to stab.
It's a double force stab.
All right, hit pause.
Palpatine. She's a Palpatine.
Did he really? So he brings up her ability to use the Force right away. I get that, but then he brings up, why didn't Leia just use a Force trick on the Death Star? She had no idea.
A lot of people forget that when Luke's in the ice cave, hanging upside down, reaching for the lightsaber, and it flies to his hand, that's before his training with Yoda.
Yeah. He vaguely knew about the Force, so he's like, maybe I can do this.
Right.
So, I mean, these are points that are just ridiculous. It's, like, you have to be trying.
She also touched minds with Kylo, who is trained in the ways of the Force. So
yeah.
If she was able to look into his mind, then she might have gotten an inkling of those things.
Yeah. I mean,
or there's an explanation in a subsequent movie that we just haven't found yet.
Exactly. And he did mention earlier in the video something about, you need books and comics for this. And it's like, well, yeah, but they're there for this specific reason. That's why they have other things in the canon to explain little details so that you have some backstory to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the whole staff, it's different than a single blade. Really? Now we're going to break down the actual combat melee weapons. We're going to do that.
Yeah, he's a weapons specialist.
Yeah,
you know what else is different? You know, a blaster is different from a staff too.
Yeah,
it has a trigger and shoots lasers out of it. It's amazing.
The stuff this guy's bringing up is like, okay, you want to make that point, that's fine. But again, suspend disbelief. And also his points can be refuted. So if he wants to nitpick, he can be nitpicked just as much.
If he wants to complain for an hour, just write a blog.
Yeah, right.
Like, we don't have to listen to your annoying voice complain for an hour about nitpick things.
Well, if he's going on for an hour, he obviously wants people to hear what he has to say. He's got that ego trip going. So he's like, I got to get the YouTube views, man. He's afraid people won't read the blog.
So this is the stuff we need to be doing, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's got a successful formula. His whole channel is based around complaining about stuff.
He's like the comic book guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Steve, what's the full name of the video?
The Force Awakens is the worst movie of all time.
Of all time. Not just the worst Star Wars movie.
Exactly.
Right. I actually softened it a little bit in our description.
Movie ever.
Worst movie
From the
ever.
worst movie ever.
Here, I'll just read the about section of his YouTube channel.
Okay.
How many videos does he have of him complaining for an hour?
Let's see. Total videos. Did it actually say like how many number he has?
60.
I'm looking at. Oh, is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it's mainly gaming, but But yeah, it's all just clickbait and trolling.
Yeah.
Here's the description. You are looking at my resume. Game wisdom focuses on the ignorance and deception that resides in every crevice of the industry, enlightening the common gamer about the most profound truths of game design philosophy. I'm not here to make you feel good. If you're the typical gamer, you're probably pretty ignorant about everything, which means my videos are going to upset you. You're just going to have to accept it. I'm going to change the world.
Ha!
Why? Because you're a video game nerd who just bitches all the time? Give me a break.
You can't enjoy anything.
Yeah. Like you suck the joy out of it. like I'm going to tell you why the things you like actually suck. Like what? Who the hell are you? Like,
I want to see him review porn.
Well, you know that's all he's got because the only way he's going to get near a woman is with a credit card.
It's like Maud Lebowski. This story's ludicrous.
Of course, you could guess where it goes from here. He fixes the cable. Seriously. I mean, why do you have to do this? I mean, now, admittedly, we're getting sucked in because we got trolled. But
yes.
But it still bears discussion.
Does it still count as a troll when you know you're getting trolled, though?
That's a good question.
Getting all meta there.
Yeah.
If you let it happen, then possibly. It depends.
You better pay the troll toll.
Yeah.
Get in the boys' hole.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just...
And by the way, this is one of those guys that has his YouTube channel and he deletes all the comments that people don't agree with him.
Oh, well, of course.
'Cause everything on here is everybody saying like how great he is and how perfect the video was and stuff. Yet it has 17,000 dislikes on it too. So
you know what would be an awesome idea is to go and make your own YouTube videos just contradicting guys like this. Like
you could do that. You could do video replies.
Well, yeah, and just make our own videos and like tag his video in it and just blast him. You know?
We kind of are because this is going on YouTube.
Well, good. Too bad ours won't get 600,000 views.
Right.
You could do a kids react video and just have them like crying the whole time.
Yeah.
I'll start it.
I hate this. It's so bad.
Well, this whole thing, I mean, if you want to do more clips of this or you want to get into the broader topic that this kind of addresses, because one thing that Star Wars fans are great at is making allowances for things that are completely bizarre because it's Star Wars. I mean, there's some stuff that is just plain wacky and stupid about it, but we love it anyway.
Yeah, because it's Hollywood and it's not always going to be 100% logical.
Yeah.
So is it okay to have a bias? Is it okay to just like give some things a pass because they're fun?
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think when you're talking about stuff like Star Wars, you have to come at it from the perspective of this universe is you're in this universe. You're not in our actual universe. So in that particular universe, it makes sense. So you have to, again, I keep coming back to this, but suspend disbelief. You have to put yourself in that world. So to come out of it and expect it to make sense is not going to happen. It's like watching Indiana Jones and going, that guy couldn't pull somebody's heart out of their chest and they're still alive. And
how did they find a boulder that round, that big?
Yeah. I mean, you could nitpick everything, but you have to, I mean, Indiana Jones, I guess, is a little different because that's actually supposed to happen in the real world, but it's, like exactly like you said, Nat, it's Hollywood. It's there for entertainment. So, I mean, people don't go to the movies to see reality. What do you want to go see a movie of some guy sitting at a desk, doing accounting for 2 hours?
You spend $15 to go into the theater and watch the news for 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
Want to see logical? Go to Animal Planet.
Right.
Exactly. People go see that Ben Affleck movie, The Accountant, and it's just him sitting there like taking phone calls. Yeah, the A&R reports will be on your desk by 9:30 in the morning. I think I'm going to go get some coffee. It's just following him around doing like spreadsheets and crap. Like, what the hell is this? Like, that's not what it's for. And stuff like Star Wars, like, why are you nitpicking? You have to understand that when you go into the Star Wars universe, and that's why people that do this really drive me nuts because they don't understand. You can refute everything. Mm-hmm. Well, how come, she could do this now? Because she has the Force, stupid. So there, I can refute it. If you think you have the Force, you could do something in that universe. You can try doing it because you have the Force. As I almost drop an F-bomb.
We have edit buttons. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. Because it exists.
Look,
in that universe, that's a real thing.
At least 3 of us at this table are fans of pro wrestling in some form or another. that's a perfect example. You have to accept the absurdity of it and buy into the story being told. It makes no sense, but that's why it's fun. It's escapism.
Yeah.
It gets you out of the mundane regular world. Okay, like how many near misses? We were talking about this before. Near misses in Star Wars. You know, like lightsabers that like they glance the shoulder, or Kylo Ren got a lightsaber to the face, but only enough to give him a cool looking scar, not enough to actually like hurt him or anything. You know, that's completely bizarre and it would never happen in reality, but it works for the story. So you just go, all right.
I mean, Chris, you're the most critical one of all of us. I mean, you and I always argue about movies. It's like we get into very heated discussions and stuff like that. So, I mean, honestly, as critical as you are you ever really truly taken out of the story of Star Wars when you watch even like your least favorite movie, which is Episode 2? Are you just, I mean, as ridiculously bad as you find that movie to be, are you ever like, well, that couldn't happen. That's not real. This is so fake. Like, or are you just like, I just don't like the story they're telling?
No, I like the stories. And that Episode 2 is the worst. I just came up with that today. I was just thinking about it. But the only thing that really bothers me about the prequels is the acting. You know, like the wooden dialogue and that whole forced love story. It was just that kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Right.
You know.
What about you, Steve? I mean, is there anything that you ever watching Star Wars, you're like, oh, this is so fake. Like I'm totally taken out of the experience.
No, because like you said, you put yourself into what you're watching and you have to look at it for what it is. And it is a different galaxy and it's space stuff. And it's, you can't just sit there and go, oh, why is that droid rolling around like that? Hey, you can't do that. There's not even any sand on him while he's going around.
Right.
The sand's going to get up in his head and he's going to get all screwed up. You can't have this. And
I will say in Rogue One, it still bothers me that awesome scene of Darth Vader, why he just doesn't like force grab the plans and, bring them to him. He's throwing people up in the ceiling and holding them there and they're playing hot potato. I still see the hot potato and it just drives me crazy still. Like, you see the guys passing stuff and getting away from you and at the door, like, take it, like, just grab it. Like,
if I'm not mistaken, though, didn't they already hand it off and the guy ran so he wasn't within eyesight?
Same hallway. He was just at the back of it.
I will say that watching that scene, it did annoy me that, like, at that point, the fact that you're trying to pass those plans off and everything, when that door didn't open in the first quarter of a second, the fact that they kept trying to dick with it instead of just that dude on the other side of the door taking the plans and going, no, you're screwed, dude. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like they really blew a good 15, 20 seconds or something like that they didn't have to.
And his chest plate, his buttons didn't light up.
You're just doing that on purpose because of that.
No, people do bitch about that. Doesn't bother me, but people bitch about that.
Yeah, I do remember the first time I saw that scene, I sat there and went, why have they not passed the plans off yet? This is ridiculous. They are taking way too long with this damn thing.
See, my whole thought was, holy crap, Vader is about to whoop like 18 different kinds of ass. I couldn't care less about the plans.
Ultimately, when it's all said and done, I wish the scene would have been about 5 minutes longer with more people in there, though. So
that's when you know a movie's doing its job, though, when it completely engrosses you in the moment and you're totally sucked in, and then you can look back on it later and be like, wow, that was pretty stupid. The fact that you don't notice it at the time means that it's doing a good job of entertaining you.
Yeah.
Talking about a movie doing its job, the two purposes of a movie is to entertain and make money. Clearly, Star Wars is making tons of money, and clearly the guy on the video is entertained if he's making an hour-long video complaining.
That's what I say too. It would be like us saying we're not like big fans of it, but I mean we do a podcast every other week, so I mean obviously we like it.
It's the same thing as the prequels that people crap on because it's not what they wanted. This guy was obviously, like you said, a huge fan. That's why he's doing all this to begin with, and Episode 7 rubbed him the wrong way, so it's instantly the biggest piece of trash ever, and I'm going to point out everything that's wrong with this because it's not what I would have done.
Right.
I just had another thought. Going back to that scene in Rogue One, everyone was so excited that Darth Vader's suit can be in outer space, but he's like obviously his apparatus, he breathes, you hear the iconic sound. What happens when he's like in space? Is it like...
It's
like choking.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing to breathe in there.
Right.
This is where the books are no fun because they explain it.
Yeah. And to me, like I saw that, and I have to admit, I was like, well, I know Vader can do that supposedly, but how are the stormtroopers not totally screwed right now? But to me, again, I'm in that universe. I'm like, who cares? It was a cool scene. Like, it's a cool visual.
I mean,
like
we all did know about that scene beforehand too. So right when it got to that part of the movie, like everybody just kind of like got up on the edge of their seat. They're just like waiting for it to happen.
Like, here it comes.
And that's the thing. You can overthink it like after the fact and like find a million things that doesn't make sense.
I'm going to assume there was a force field there anyway, because even if they can breathe in space, there's still a vacuum. They would have been like sucked out instead of just like standing there, like there was gravity and everything.
Yeah.
So there's enough evidence to say that there was something going on there that just wasn't explained. Oh my God, they didn't explain something.
How about his cape was blowing, but there's no wind in space? Oh,
it's metachlorians.
Yeah.
There's midichlorians.
See,
you go back to the old the Force Unleashed games. Every time you broke a window, something would automatically go and just slam shut. So like, and it did have the vacuum because you would like toss crap out the thing on purpose. So
see, and in thinking about it as we're talking about it, you know, like we nitpick as well, but I do feel kind of guilty doing stuff like this when people post these videos, like kind of complaining when we complain about them complaining, because in a way we're doing the same thing. But in thinking about it, they're complaining in terms of, well, this is fake and this is fake. That wouldn't happen in the real world. And our complaining exists within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
So it's like we're not expecting it to be real. So when we're complaining, like when I'm complaining about episode 7, I'm not, saying things like, oh, well, the Rathtars, oh, why is it so convenient they went down that other hallway? It was a wild animal. It would have just followed the food, so they should have ate Han Solo. No, I'm saying I don't like episode 7 because it ripped off the plot of episode 4. I'm not trying to put real world physics to it like these kind of assholes are.
Yeah, the only time I usually gripe about stuff is if it's poorly made, that's a problem, or if it violates its own rules. Like if you say that these are the rules are established for this universe, like yes, lightsabers can do this, but they can't do this. And then you see them do that other thing. You're like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like people, we talked about Kanan cutting through a walker's leg with a lightsaber, which the blade ain't long enough and lightsabers can't cut that fast because we've seen those limitations before.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we're complaining about it. Not because it's preposterous in itself, but because we've been told per their own guidelines that can't happen.
Yeah.
You mean Inquisitor helicopters?
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I just don't understand, and to your point, Nat, like the guy, he's obviously a fan. Like I said before, damn well when they announced they're making more movies, he was all pumped up, and he's got to be a fan to some point. If he's going to spend an hour of his time, well, a lot more than an hour because he edited this all together, but a ton of time just making an hour-long video complaining about it.
Yeah, and he's only complaining logically. Like, we're just thinking about, like, Star Wars, and he's like, oh, that can't happen in the real world. Like, it's a Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's not logical.
He hasn't, and that's the one thing about this video. He never brings up stuff, like, basing it on what happens in the Star Wars universe. It's all trying to make it, well, in the real world, this couldn't happen type of thing. Well, it's not the real world, dude. Like you can't base it on that. And if you're doing that
all over, he goes all over. He goes in universe. He goes out of universe. He rips on the production of the movie itself.
What's wrong with the production of the movie?
Well,
that's one complaint.
He complains about Rey's performance. Like her expressions in certain scenes are just weird.
He go out and do it.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, but I guess, they're paid. I'm a terrible actor. I've tried. I can't.
At least his complaint in that case is not against Daisy Ridley. It's against J.J. Abrams for not doing his job.
All right.
He is the director. So if she's doing the wrong thing on screen, it's because she wasn't directed properly.
That's the very first complaint I've ever heard about Rey and the character's portrayal. Everything I've ever heard is just nothing but glowing and positive.
Yeah, I think he completely misconstrues the meaning behind certain expressions.
Well, yeah, because he's basically just looking for stuff to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? Like, why
make that 60 minutes?
Yeah, why make a YouTube page like this where you're just trying to crap on stuff that people likes? What kind of a miserable bastard are you?
Because he's getting views, which means he's getting paid. That's why.
That's
true.
Not enough to make it worth your while, man. Everyone thinks you get rich on. You don't get rich on YouTube anymore.
If all his videos are getting 600,000 views, which they might not be because I'm not bothering to click on all that, but
the total views for the channel are in the 600,000 range. This video has almost all of them.
Okay, but yeah, he's making a decent amount at least off of this one video.
So basically, so you know what that tells me? He's a gamer nerd with no social life, and he decided that he wanted to try and get rich on YouTube, failed miserably, so he trolled Star Wars so he could put Star Wars out there to jump off the back of clickbait to try and get rich on YouTube.
Yeah, let's see. He's got this one has 607,487 views. The next closest one I can see here, let's see, he's got one with 667 views, 185 views. This one's actually doing better. It's got 3,852 views.
What's that one? What video?
Call of Duty isn't getting worse. You are.
Wow, I hate this guy even more now.
Wow.
Call of Duty has been trash for 10 years, dude. I'm not even trying to get into this, but wow.
So, John, you know this guy's a moron, but you do agree that this is the worst Star Wars movie.
It's my least favorite. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's saying that it's the worst Star Wars movie. This guy's saying the worst movie all time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a clickbait headline.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so what we're learning tonight is when we upload this onto YouTube, we title it Star Wars Rogue One Worst Movie of All Time. And then it's just our podcast.
We'll just title all of our stuff with like total clickbait headlines.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what's actually in it. Just get that click, man.
Darth Vader, worst villain ever.
Yeah, right. Darth Vader was actually gay. Like, we have proof.
Darth Vader, Donald Trump compared. And it's just our podcast.
Yeah, right.
People just listen for an hour. Like, it's like the news, you know, when they tease something like the night before. And it's that 5-second story on the end of the news right before stupid reruns from Law and Order start playing on TV.
Right.
Like, that's all it is. People just keep listening. And then at the end of our episode, we're like, Darth Vader was queer.
Yeah.
That's our show.
we title it like Donald Trump and Darth Vader compared. It's actually just us talking about whether or not Wampas are cute.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.
Exactly. Click that like button, guys.
We just get known as like the biggest trolls on YouTube.
Support the channel. Share with your friends and family.
No, I think that'd be good to go find people's videos like this and destroy their videos. It's like, you know how
Just rain on everyone's parade.
Oh, it'd be great. Like the people that rain on everyone's parade, like rain on theirs. Be like, here's why this guy's an a-hole. Find his home address, find out his real name, and give out his address and phone number, and just so that way it's on YouTube and people are just like, you know, calling him and bombing him with just like hate. Like, there you go.
We'll rain on his parade, and you can too. Here's a cell.
Yeah.
Well, or
here's
you
a picture of his house on Google Earth.
Or take a person like this whose like avatar picture is a chess piece. You just put a random picture of a person up, say it's them, and just make up whatever kind of BS story you want about it.
Just poses them and make like ridiculous videos.
This guy's acting like the world revolves around him.
Yeah. Like you said, it's obviously scripted. I mean, we knew, but it's just the way he's talking is very pompous.
Chess pieces make the worst YouTube avatars ever. Click.
Yeah.
I think we found our niche. We really, AJ, let's start naming these videos a little better, man.
Oh yeah,
we'll get the same thing. You know what? Upload it onto the website too. Same thing. Just garbage names like that for clickbait.
I just think it'd be funny to actually call people out like that, because I think everybody has that desire. Like when you see all these, like, I know I do, when you see these people on YouTube and Facebook, like just anonymous commenters that'll just, the keyboard warriors, they'll say anything. I always thought it'd be great if there was a way to track them and just like have like a guy that's like a internet bounty hunter, and there's like some punk just typing like all this ridiculous crap. He's like, look how smart I am. All of a sudden the door gets kicked in and some dude comes in and just beating the ever living out of him.
You're talking about the last 10 minutes of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if that was real.
That giant stack of paper that looks like it was printed from a dot matrix
Yeah,
printer.
do exactly that. Like, so these guys that think they're protected by anonymity on the internet, all of a sudden they're just getting their ass handed to them. So it'd be great, you know? So just do that in the form of videos.
Adam, you need to start making clickbait articles like 10 reasons why lightsabers are terrible, and then just do a slideshow. Put it on Facebook.
Right, and then when people
clickbait
put
articles with like big-titted women on the bottom.
Right, when people put like negative comments on the videos and stuff, just reply to it. Be like, thanks for watching.
Just title all of our
comment, subscribe. Thanks.
Just title all of our videos like full frontal female nudity in Star Wars nobody caught. So you get all these nerds like, holy There's boobs in Star Wars. Oh my god. Click, 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 click. Where's the tits? It's like, all right, we got 1 million views in a day.
Don't forget the clickbait thumbnail. You gotta have that too.
Just Photoshop something in there.
It's a blurry picture with a circle and an arrow pointing to some random thing.
just like Photoshop like a nipple onto Leia when she's turning around on Endor. Like it's like, oh my god, that was a nipple. Like you guys never noticed it, but here it is. We have a screen cap of it. Like,
oh, you guys didn't see it because it was in the original, and they won't release that on Blu-ray.
No, it's
and
Maz. Put a nipple on Maz.
That's what you do. Like tease them that there's like full frontal female nudity, but just put it on like Twi'leks and Maz Kanata.
It's Maz or Sice Noodles or something.
Yeah,
Put it
Sice
on
Noodles.
BB-8.
Yeah, right.
Turns out the Sarlacc was actually female.
Yeah, Sarlacc on the Rancor. Like the Rancor was a female. They just have this like, you know.
She was. Her name was Roxy. Roxy the Rancor.
That's not real, is it?
I think so.
I thought that the Belgian crew just named her that.
Maybe that's their Rancor then. Yeah,
their Rancor.
That's where I got it from.
What if the Sarlacc pit was its anus?
Oh God!
So all the people falling in there.
And there's like a sand dune, and its head, its heads and arms are like out, and it's like looking like, what the hell's going on?
It's like the cosmic equivalent of the whole like, you know, shoving gerbils up there, like that old cliche about gay people. There's all these dudes falling in there.
That's why it takes 1,000 years. He wants that thing to wriggle around a bit.
Yeah.
And too bad for the special editions. They added a beak. That's just like, that's just strange.
Oh, great. This is on the heels of Alien Covenant coming out. So now I'm thinking about that.
Yeah. Right. Hey, again, we have to suspend disbelief because it's in the Star Wars universe. Maybe certain space creatures have like beaks that come out of their ass. Like, you never know.
Exactly.
Maybe entire creatures come out of there.
Right?
It could be like South Park. You know, they had that episode where they learned to eat backwards.
It could be.
Tell me someone else saw it here. Come
It
on.
could be an undigested creature that went through the Sarlacc.
It's trying to get out.
Yeah, that's what the beak is like. I'm trying to get out of here, dude. And then,
If that actually happened, then this guy would just make another hour video.
You need that on your soundboard.
yeah,
that beak is just the first thing of it coming out looking like Ace Ventura coming out of the rhino ass.
that's like a deleted scene from Return of the Jedi. Like you said, somewhere across the desert, there's like a big animal head, and it's got two little stubby arms, and it's pushing, and it's going, and nothing's happening. Like
And then
it's all
Boba
constipated.
Fett falls in and just goes, ooh.
You know, Jabba's depraved enough to mess with a huge animal's anus.
Yeah, right.
We'll throw you in the butthole.
Yeah, that's what he was actually saying. They had to clean it up. Oh, wonky hoo-ha. It's go chuck him in the giant asshole in the desert.
We just called it the Sarlacc pit because desert ass didn't sound very. Jabba needed to make it sound a little scarier. You really can't threaten too many people.
Did Jabba just say alien turd cutter? What? Like,
And the fart fumes really helped Han get his eyesight back.
that's what it
It's like
was.
onions.
It cleared his vision. Like, oh my god.
You've angered Jabba to the sand butthole.
That's why when that tentacle came out and grabbed Lando, he was like, yeah. It's a butt tentacle.
Yeah. It's like, now I got crap on my shoe. I spent a lot of money on these damn things.
It was a tapeworm.
Jabba says we have to go to the fart box now.
I'm going to be at work tomorrow doing my business thinking, almighty Sarlacc.
Sarlacc pit, fart box. Sarlacc fart box.
One of the creatures coming out is just Yoda.
Down there stinks.
Unexpected this was.
And unfortunate.
Yeah, and unfortunate. Unfortunate that I know the truth? No, unfortunate that I popped out of an asshole in the desert. Like,
To a dark place, this line of thought will carry me.
See, now this is something you could analyze in the Star Wars universe. Don't be sitting there ripping on Episode 7, trying to say why a bow staff and a lightsaber are two completely different weapons. You need to talk about whether or not the Sarlacc is a giant asshole in the desert.
These are the real issues plaguing the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah. This is valid.
Every time we watch that now and the Sarlacc pit just opens up and just it's sitting there like,
The fart machine would be perfect for that.
Wouldn't it be?
See, this is why all the bizarre stuff that he's ripping on is great. Because how much more fun are we having laughing our asses off about a butthole in the desert than worrying about if we believe that the soundtrack was uplifting or not?
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we end this topic? Go to the John Williams part. Let's see if we can catch that, and we'll talk about that before we.
I'm 51 minutes in, so let's see.
Yeah, scrub ahead a few more.
Starkiller Base.
According
to the diagram shown by the Resistance, movies used to be more regal and defined by their own unique personalities and beliefs. Even the reckless Han Solo was. But in Force Awakens, many of the lines are too obviously conscious of themselves and are trying to either be funny or are too full of fake inflection.
Sorry.
Fake inflection? You mean like acting?
How dare you act?
Stereotypically, as a clueless, womanizing jerk who doesn't has no weaknesses and no limits. While all the other characters are enduring pain and heartache, she's piloting the Millennium Falcon with no prior experience and
hating on Rey.
her assailant.
All right.
The story.
Let's just go to
Awakens had any prevailing melody or chorus.
There you go.
In fact, I didn't hear a single song anywhere in there. It was just random blaring of horns and string runs. The only real song that ever played in the movie was after Rey force pulled the lightsaber, and it was copied directly from the soundtrack that played when Luke was looking at the burning homestead. Finally,
directly
I'd like
from
to
the
debunk
soundtrack
this
that came
idea
out
that
for
J.J.
Episode
Abrams
7.
is some kind of prodigy in the realm of filmmaking. The man is 50 years old, and he's only directed 5 movies in his whole life. A mediocre sequel to Mission Impossible, those two...
Okay, we're obviously done with John Williams already.
But you get the gist of it.
Okay.
Those damn blaring horns.
Those just horns.
Soundtracks aren't supposed to be songs. It's one continuous piece of music that provides the emotional bed for the scene. So his musical opinion right there is completely off base. Oh, but I forgot. He must be a musician on top of a filmmaker and a critic. So...
He's complaining how, like, all this stuff, like, it's not logical. If you want to talk about logical, don't be, like, changing sides like, oh, there's not music, it's just blaring horns. When you go and into war in, like, real life, there's not, like, badass music in the background. Like,
Come back to the Civil War. They had an idiot and a snare drum. You go out first, dummy. Here we go.
Go announce us. It was the precursor.
And a fife. Don't forget the fife.
Oh, yeah. The fife, the drum, and the flag. You 3 morons go in the front of the line.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
make the most noise and have the most visually obvious thing.
Yeah. Oh, don't shoot those guys. They're just here to bring some emotion to the battle. But yeah, I mean,
there's not already enough motion. Like,
right. But yeah, I mean, like the soundtrack is not there. If it's songs you're looking for, that takes away from what you're paying attention to on the screen. It's supposed to enhance the emotion of what's going on with the dialogue and the acting and the scene itself. Just because, I mean, what he's, there's repetitious themes throughout the Star Wars soundtracks, and we've discussed the Episode 4 soundtrack. You can hear those pieces of music and know exactly where you are in the movie, but they're not songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just themes, and there's plenty of themes when you listen to the Episode 7 soundtrack. Even though it's not nearly as iconic as the Episode 4 soundtrack, and I haven't seen that movie nearly as many times as I have the original trilogy. You listen to that soundtrack, you can know where you're at in the movie. The themes are still there, so that's a bullcrap complaint in it. Again,
I love the music right off the bat. The opening scene where the Star Destroyer, eclipses the planet, and then you get the strings coming out when you see the transports coming out to fly down to the planet. I'm like, that's awesome. That was like a perfect scene. It had a striking visual and a good suspenseful, tense bit of strings to like lead you in to realize that those aren't good guys coming out of that ship.
Yeah. The soundtrack was fantastic. That was, again, one of the things that was universally praised about the movie. My only complaint, like I said, is that for some reason the main theme doesn't hit very hard. It kind of comes like, it's like, other than that, I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
I loved it.
No complaints.
No. So,
and even what he was talking about the one song, you know, was when Rey pulled the lightsaber. Of course, they kind of went back to the well with the episode 4, the
Yeah.
The Force theme.
Yeah,
Like
it's
someone's using the Force.
yeah.
Yeah, so what? It's been used in like 5 movies. They just played it a little
For
bit
that
differently.
reason.
It's yeah.
And again, it's the emotional anchor that tells you, okay, like AJ just said, it's the Force theme. So you know that this is something Force related. That's what it's there for. It's telling part of the story.
Yeah, it was a realization of what the hell she's doing now, and she realized the full, well, maybe not full potential of powers, but you know, you know what I'm getting at on that.
Yeah.
It's just, of course, that was the theme that they were going for when that happened. So
They also played the same music from one of the previous movies when Han and Leia were on screen together. Because
Yeah.
it's Han and Leia's theme.
Yeah.
say it isn't so.
This guy just is,
Such a ripoff. Such a ripoff.
I'm still waiting for one of these things to actually like make some sense. Again, it's just honestly, you know what makes sense? My complaint compared to everything he said. My complaint saying, well, it's the first Star Wars movie that doesn't really completely tell an original story. That's within the universe, and it's a legitimate beef because it doesn't. None of the other movies have that complaint levied against it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an original story. It just mirrors very closely the original trilogy
Yeah,
story.
but I mean, like, okay, when you saw episode 4, you had never seen anything like it. When you saw episode 5, it's totally different from episode 4. Episode 6, totally different from episode 5. You go into episode 1, they didn't rip off the original trilogy. It was a whole different thing, and it went off on a totally different story. The look of episode 8 from the trailer and all sorts of plot rumors and stuff, it's going to be totally different. It's not going to be an Empire Strikes Back ripoff. It's a whole different story. The Force Awakens, though, you could say, well, it kind of aped episode 4. And it's the only movie that tries to go and pull tons of stuff from the other, another film. So that's where I'm coming from. So you're right, but I'm just saying that it does pull from something else, and it's the only one that does that. It's not like a total left turn, like episode 1 was a total left turn in the storyline. And
if you want to point on a plot hole, how about the fact that he leans so heavily on episode 4? Like, and when has that ever helped? And don't say the Death Star. Well, which one? Because we blew up 2 of them.
Right.
Like, they just kind of gloss over Return of the Jedi ever happening. Every callback is an episode 4 callback. It's not a 6 callback.
Yeah.
Or barely even a 5 callback. It's always A New Hope. Like, the whole trilogy was good. If you're going to rip off, like, pull from all 3 movies at least.
yeah. No, I agree.
You can't complain about Starkiller Base being like the Death Star when you already had 2 Death Stars. Like, they already redid the Death Star.
Uh-huh.
So
No,
episode 9 should be like Super Starkiller Base, and it's like half under construction.
Well, and
Don't tempt them.
they're working with that anyway. They're basically saying like that probably a lot of Starkiller Base ideas came from Death Star ideas. And that's why it looks and acts like one, is because it was already in the works.
I have to admit that when I found out that was the super weapon, I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, I've already seen the giant ball that blows crap up.
Yeah.
Like, don't just make it a bigger ball that blows more crap up. I've already seen that. And that's the unfortunate thing about episode 7 is a few things that they leaked annoyed me before I even went into the theater, because I was like, but there was a few things that they told us that I'm like, I've already seen that. Why did you do that? You couldn't come up with something else? You had to just go, oh, it's like a bigger Death Star.
Starkiller Base is a giant butthole in space.
It
takes stuff in and then it goes through hyperspace.
Right?
Explosive diarrhea.
Really? Of light. So, all right. Well, on that note, why don't we close up shop? Chris and Natalie, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Not a problem. See, now you're famous, Nat. You can show all your friends you're actually on a recorded podcast.
Yay.
Without a doubt, the worst episode ever.
Nice timing. I love how you look that stuff up while we're in the middle of doing
I
a
saw
show.
him looking it up too.
I'm trying to be quick with it. That's good.
I'm just so used to him looking at the computer while we're talking that I don't even pay any attention to it anymore.
Yeah, that's
I
on the fly
glance
production
over.
right there.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the
glance
radio
over and
background
see-
coming in.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Book guy.
Well, thanks for listening to the show, everybody. We appreciate it. You can find us at nerfherdercouncil.com. Our main platform is Spreaker.com, their website or their app. You can download the show, stream it. We are on Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, all those good locations. You can call us and leave us a voicemail with some feedback on our voicemail line, which is 440-987-WARS, which is 9277. can hit us up at the website, feedback at nerfherdercouncil.com. And we obviously have our Facebook page, and we have our Twitter page, which is at NHC Podcast. So until next time, I'm your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He's Chris.
Hi, everybody.
What's your Twitter?
I don't have Twitter.
Okay. She's Natalie. No Twitter?
No.
She's a minor. We won't give out contact info.
True. And he's Steve.
Here's last booking.
Yeah. Right.
At JSteve1005.
And we'll catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.